Alright. Fantastic, everything seems to be in order. So let us continue with Final Fantasy XIV. Last we left off, we finished the healer role quest, I believe. That was in August Reach and Alamigo, where we helped Fordola in finding some measure of forgiveness for herself. It was a really good role quest, and yeah, that last boss fight was pretty... It's pretty amazing. Pretty cool. Very anime. Right, well, today we are going to be... changing region there. But yes, today we are going to be progressing with the physical ranged DPS request. And that is going to take us to Doma, I believe. So let's see what's in store for us. Seeds of Disquiet. Doman Delegate is seeking able-bodied adventurers on behalf of Lord Hien. Do my eyes deceive me, Master Sylvain? Oh, thank the Kami. Lord Hien has requested assistance in the resolution of a most urgent matter. The hunt for a fell beast believed to be a blasphemy. For we've made great strides in ensuring the safety of our people. We fear even our finest shinobi will be no match for this enemy, for it commands the skies of Doma. Alright, actually, before I continue, let me just check a few things. I'll be right back. Okay, all good, all good. I really should get like a second monitor. Eventually. One day, but today's not that day. Okay. But as a talent for striking down foes at a distance is beyond compare. I can think of no one better to aid us in overcoming this adversary. Well, if no other marksman is up to the task. Oh, Kami be praised. I shall inform Lady Yugiri that she may receive you at the Doman Enclave. Safe travels, Master Sylvain. Lady Yugiri will await your arrival at the Doman Enclave. Safe travels, and may the Kami speed your way. Yugiri. It's good to see you, Sylvain. When we received word that you, of all people, had answered our call, I could scarcely believe it. Yet, here you are. Lord Hien will be pleased for this reunion, if you would wait here a moment. Well, well, that the Kami should guide your steps to our door once more, and with such fortuitous timing. Pray forgive me for not affording you a hero's welcome, but time is not on our side. Not long after receiving word of men transforming into hideous beasts in Vervner, a similar creature was born of a woman in Isari. After attacking another villager, it took to the skies and fled, though to where we know not. An all too cruel twist of fate, for the one slain was among the prisoners returned to us in the deplorable exchange with Asahi and the Empire. Just when we had at last begun to piece their life back together. This blasphemy must be stopped. Alas, our foe is wont to keep to the skies, well beyond the reach of our samurai and shinobi. Thus did we seek the aid of those proficient in ranged combat, able to pluck the beast from the heavens. Of course, martial prowess alone will not solve our problems. Others have turned into weaker but no less gruesome abominations, as was the case in Vervner, and their numbers increase by the day. From what I understand, this phenomenon is not unlike a sickness which spreads by feeding on fear and anxiety, emotions which of late can be found in abundance. Slaying the beast means nothing if people's heart cannot be put at ease. Lord Hien. You have to help. The villagers, they... Sir, please, calm yourself and tell us what happened. Another has been turned in Namai, my lord. For a blessing, no one was harmed when the beast flew into a rage. But the people are in a panic. I fear what may happen next. It would seem we have even less time than I thought. Worry not. We will see to the beast. As of yet, there is no cure for this affliction, but we will save what lives we can. I promise you. I trust you are ready to join the fray. I was last seen near the glittering basin. Come, I will show you. Still no sign of the beast, or any other for that matter. Without a cure, with no choice but to cut them down before they can cause more harm. The beast was right here, I swear it. I thank you for leading us here, but it's not safe. Please, return to your village. We should split up if we're to have any chance of finding it. Sylvain, would you see to the west? I will search in the north. Yagiri, I leave the east to you. If you find it, remember, these blasphemies are no longer people. They will not hesitate to strike you down, so you mustn't either. Now, let us not waste any more time. That was the wrong button. It's just a little guy. We were all right. We heard shouting and came as fast as we could. It appears Sylvain arrived not a moment too soon. Why? Why did you kill my brother? Your brother? Young man, that creature was not your kin. Not anymore. Had he not laid it to rest, it would have killed you and countless others. But if your heart cries out for one to blame, let it be me. The beast was slain at my behest, for it was the only way. No, no, you're wrong. You killed him. Murdered him. I hate you. This is why I detest children. Or rather, shitty brats like this. Kono Kusugaki. Issei, what are you doing here? Searching for a Tonbo, though clearly you found him first. The monster was his older brother, as you may have guessed, and Tombo gave chase the moment it ran off. I beg you, forgive him for his outburst. His brother was all he had left. Her father was conscripted by the Empire and was, regrettably, not among those returned to us in the recent exchange of prisoners. The hope they might one day be reunited was their only comfort when the Viceroy still ruled. I can only imagine how they felt when she walked into the sari, a shadow of her former self. Suyu may have had no memories of the monster she was, but her victims still see her in their dreams. Nevertheless, like many, the brothers prayed your mercy would see their family restored. But then they learned of her death, and of their father's absence. Deprived of hope and of hate, all at once, they had nothing. Ah, my apologies for rambling. No, it was a rather enlightening tale. I spared the woman who brought him pain, and it took the brother brought him comfort. I would hate me too. I swear I will set things right for Tombo, for all the people of Doma. Please, return home, Issei, and be safe. Let's return to the Doman Enclave. This ordeal has given me much to consider. I do not envy Lord Hien the burden now thrust upon him. but you shall not have to bear it alone. I owe you a great debt for your timely assistance, and an apology, for I've made you an executioner in young Tonbo's eyes. Would that I had been the one he witnessed cut down the beast his brother had become. But we haven't the time to dwell on regrets and what should have been. No, we need to take action. And after hearing of Tonbo and his brother, I believe I know what must be done. A great many of our brothers and sisters will return to us in the prisoner exchange, but even so, there are those who yet remain lost to us. Meanwhile, Yotsuyu, who was directly responsible for much of our people's suffering, was never held to account for our crimes. In death, she claimed vengeance for her suffering at the hands of her brother, but it came at the expense of justice for her countless victims. The people of Doma have every right to resent me for failing them and their grief. But what of those who cannot bring themselves to do even that? Who are left alone in their anger and their pain? You may well give way to despair, and then they would share the same fate as Tombo's brother, yes. Which is why we must needs consider who else might share his anguish, ere we find ourselves beset by more beasts. I will begin making rounds of the villages to inquire after those whom their neighbors believe are more distressed of late. Very good. I and the other shinobi shall continue our search for the blasphemy which set these events in motion. And you, my friend, we will have need of your talents again ere long. Rest assured, we will keep you apprised of our findings. Hey, what's up? Nothing much, just enjoying some Final Fantasy XIV. Also progressing with the role quests for the Endwalker. How have you been? And Vakami answer. Lohian's extended absence from the Enclave does not sit well with Yugiri. Ah, Sylvain. We have yet to ascertain the whereabouts of the blasphemy from Isari, but, for a blessing, we have received no reports of others that have turned. Lord Hien, for his part, has made a concerted effort to go about the villages and converse with his subjects directly. I suspect his constant presence has served to allay the people's fears. Been sick, so I couldn't go to play board games with everyone earlier. I'm just gonna go lurk, have a good time. You have a good one. Well, I hope you get well soon, and do enjoy yourself. Thank you for stopping by the way. As one might expect, he has ever been dedicated and diligent. I fear he has been away overlong. I thought to go and visit what should have been his last destination, Isari. May I ask you to accompany me? Thank you. I'm sure there is no cause for concern, but nevertheless, I should be glad to find him quickly. Oh, that tower really does stretch us on for forever. Thank goodness we found him. Why has he remained here so long, I wonder? Sylvain, Yugiri. My apologies if I gave you cause for concern. Assessing the state of affairs here in Asari has proven difficult. To put it simply, the people, one and all, refuse to speak with me. They simply bow their heads and turn away at my approach. Knowing the blasphemy originated here, I cannot help but wonder if that has aught to do with their silence. Perhaps you could attempt to engage with the people in my stead. Surely they have no cause to deny the two of you. I should hope not. Nevertheless, I will don a disguise, lest I draw undue attention. Come, Sylvain. Let's see what we can discover. Thank you, both of you. Do the people here not wish for the monstrosity to be laid low, and for peace to reign once more? Why have they elected to behave in this manner? Sorry, is this, or I suppose the entire Ruby Sea region is just basically fantasy Okinawa, isn't it? Burly villager. I owe a great debt to Lord Hien, but if not for him, I would still be fighting under the Imperial standard. But the village suffered dearly under the occupation. What's more, our Lord failed to punish the Viceroy for her crimes, and failed to reunite many with their loved ones. I understand why some would think poorly of him, even if I do not. Kami-fearing villager. A blasphemy. You are mistaken, my friend. Our villager was visited not by a monster, but a Kami, Izanami. The Lord Hien is cold and callous. She offers us boundless compassion and love. Praise be to you, Izanami, goddess of creation and bringer of death. Many villagers were heartbroken when they learned that their loved ones were not included in the prison exchange. Even so, I wish they would not lay all blame for that at the feet of Lord Hien. Shalom, brother. Hey, Cephalus, how are you doing? Welcome to Final Fantasy XIV, where I play as a Victorian-era cowboy in feudal Japan. Just got back from shopping at Giant. Oh, nice. Big preparation for the long weekend, I assume. You would not believe how fucking crowded it is at 10:30 p.m. Oh no, I would believe it. I've been to Giant like in previous years, and I do not recommend it. Yeah. The queue was sneaking around aisles. I don't know. That's pretty expected. Was this like the large outlet by one at IKEA and Quartz, or is this just like a local outlet? That's first for me, definitely an eye-opening experience. The one by IKEA in court? Ah, yeah. Yep, that's pretty much expected. Not a pleasant experience, but certainly an eye-opening one. Let's see, concerned villager. Aye, that's right. The blasphemy was born of a young woman here in Isari. Tragic, really. Every day she prayed for a safe return of her husband, but it was not to be. If I'm to be honest, I fear the loss drove her poor stepmother mad. Kisei has ever been a devout believer in the kami and their blessings, but she somehow convinced herself that Minato has become one. So how goes the questing? Yeah, so we are in Doma, Fantasy Japan, hunting down a blasphemy born of a villager here in Isari. So it's a bit of like a bit of backstory here provided by this concerned villager. For what it seems like a lot of people blame Lord Hien for their woes, for his perceived failure to punish Yotsuyu, one of the antagonists in Stormblood. But if you consider what has happened, villagers of Doma aren't exactly innocent either. And now, over here, the villager who has transformed into a blasphemy has a stepmother who believes that said villager has become a kami. One of the villagers that I've spoke to earlier calls her Izanami. I also shot and killed like a little kid's older brother who transformed into a blasphemy as well. Persona reference. The delusions of a grieving parent, obviously, but an alarming number of people have come to share in her belief. Heresy is what it is. That is correct. The people's misplaced faith in this false Izanami worries me. Something must be done about this, and soon. Oh, I don't worry too much about it. I'm sure this, like... I don't know. I don't know if this is like a 50 caliber gun or bigger, considering like the diameter of that hole there. You ever watched that movie Snatch by Guy Ritchie? There was that one scene with Vinnie Jones playing Sharktooth Tony. So, I think it went something along the lines of like, the fact that your gun has replica written inside of it, and mine has Desert Eagle .50 musket 40. It's a big fucking gun, is what it is. That's Yuguri's disguise. The situation here in Isari is complicated, to say the least. Turns out they're worshipping a false god. I see. Little wonder they would refuse to confide in me. The belief held by some is that this blasphemy is a kami, however, is quite concerning. Izanami presides over life and death. She gave birth to the nation of Doma, and ushers the souls of the departed onto the land of the dead. I trust you understand what it will mean to deny them a source of hope in such dark times, even one such as this. Her villagers also claim that this Kisei can speak with the dead. In fact, she will be holding a gathering to demonstrate her powers ere long. The perfect opportunity to gauge the extent of their fanaticism. Not for me, of course. My presence would draw undue attention. Might I ask you both to attend in my stead? Her followers will be gathering in the tavern. Come. It wouldn't be the first time I had to shoot God in the face. O spirits of Isari, I beseech you, lend me your voice, and let your presence be known. Cross the veil and be among us once more. Mogus. Get on my head, get on my head! Man, you are tall. Oh yeah, I mean, I've put set my character to be like max height, and on the other hand, Yugiri is pretty short. Amogus. Akitsu. Father? Still tending the nets, like I taught you. Yes, Father. Every day. Thanks to you, we never want for fish. Our bellies are never empty. I am proud to be your son. I was always too embarrassed to tell you before, but... And I am proud to have been your father. May you be ever blessed by the sea's bounty. Ugh. Oh, it hurts. Father, what's wrong? He is in terrible pain, my child. Have you heard of the High Elves? Those who have cheated death's design, yet live, has disrupted the natural order, and the spirits suffer for it. What must we do to ease the pain? With only 7 payments of... with only 10 payments, 10 easy payments of $7.99, you too can ease the spirits of the dead. I have a feeling this is how it's gonna go. Probably. Fear not, Izanami shall put all to rights. She will claim the souls not long for this world, and deliver them unto the hereafter. When her work is finished, your father's spirits and all the others will find peace. Can you find my father? Can you help me speak with him? And I am tripping over my words today. Kise, can you commune with my husband? What about my family? Help me, Kise, please. And thus, a cult of personality has been formed. How and when did she change back? She seemed convincing enough, but was that truly Akitsu's father that spoke through her? No. Definitely not. Or perhaps. So, is Kisei's ability all that she claims? I don't buy it for 1 second. A young man spoke with his dearly departed father through her. I find that rather hard to believe. Even so, those in attendance appeared quite convinced, my lord. And I suspect a great many of the villagers I've spoken with recently are as well. Everywhere I went, the people were in so much pain, and there was nothing I could do or say to give them solace. Yet for all their anguish, there has not been a single report of villagers turning since the incident with Tombo's brother. Which can only mean word of Kisei and her ability to speak with the deceased has spread. The belief we can commune with our loved ones in death is a comfort far beyond my powers to provide. While I fail to see how the people would abide in Kami claiming innocent lives to restore order. She comes! Izanami! The blasphemy! Here! I'm about to shoot God in the face. Lord Hien, the Kami. She appeared as if from nowhere, and in the next instant this poor man was... He's dead, Jim. So we were too late. I spoke with him before in Nazari. There was only one of the villagers returned in the prisoner exchange. You recognize him, then? He's a big guy. Curious that he and the blasphemy's first victims were former conscripts. What could the fiend be after, I wonder? It does not become of my lord to speak ill of the Kami. Fiend hates all ensmen. I mean, they're barely human anyway. I understand you are come to investigate the rumors of a monster born in our village. A blasphemy, you called it. But you are sorely mistaken. My stepdaughter, Minato, was chosen to serve as a vessel for Izanami. I witnessed her ascension with my own eyes. Bullshit vision, go! Minato, please. I can't. I won't. There's no logic in it. No justice. The Witch of Doma spared, given a second chance, and my husband condemned to die as a conscript. I'll never know what became of him. Lord Hien can't even give me that. And when I look at the families he made whole, at their happiness, I feel the hole in my heart, the gaping wound that will never heal, begin to bleed. Only at my beloved's side will I find peace. You mustn't lose faith, Minato. All will be well. Trust in Wakami, in Izanami. I want to believe, but... Ayo. 4 tentacles. Izanami is come to bring peace to the souls of the departed, to restore balance between their world and ours. Surely you would not dare defy the will of the Kami. This balance you speak of has claimed the lives of 2 innocents, but recently returned to us. I will not accept that the Kami condone such cruelty. No crueler than the sight of Yotsu free and forgiven, while my husband and son fought Garlemald's wars, now dead and forgotten in a foreign land. With all due respect, Lord Hien, is it not your duty to protect Doma and her people? How are we to place our faith in the man who places the enemy's safety and well-being above that of his own subjects? You see, this is why these people do not deserve salvation. Only the Kami are deserving of our adoration, as they have always been. Judge. You know, between you and me, Ian, I think we should just let the blasphemy just, you know, wipe out an entire village. We can probably find replacements and repopulate them easy enough. Come on, man. Surely you must see what kind of bullshit this is. Are you alright? For a moment you seemed unwell. The villagers are no doubt loath to ask it of me, but preparations must be made for burials and funeral rites. I can offer that much, at least. You seemed distracted during our conversation with Kisei. Is something the matter? What kind of bullshit empath vision superpowers was it anyway? It's the power of the echo. Basically, it's power granted by Heidelin to her champions to allow us to peer into the past. So it's not much less... Was it an AR? Yeah, it's always been in there since the beginning. Like, pretty early on, I think. It's one of your core abilities and like one of the main reasons why you were scouted to join the Science of the Seventh Dawn. Then again, all I remember is, pray, return to the waking sands. The echo, and the blasphemy was indeed born of his stepdaughter. To bear witness to such horror, how her mind must have struggled to comprehend what she saw. As a woman of faith, perhaps her only surviving family becoming one with the divine was the only reality with which she could come to terms. Yes, it's real cope. I believe I know now what must be done, but I pray for her fervor does not drive her to oppose us. Come, let us return to the Enclave. I mean, come on, what can she do, realistically speaking? Come on now. What do you suppose Lord Hien intends to do? From what you told me of your vision, the nature of Minato's despair, as well as the focus of her ire, is clear. 'Tis plain she was a good-natured and kind-hearted woman, grieving for the loss of her husband. This loss alone may not have been enough to turn her, but my failure to hold Yotsuyu to account, together with the sight of other families reunited, compounded the turmoil in her broken heart. A path to despair paved by my good intentions, a truth that will weigh heavy on my conscience until my dying day. Come on, man, how the hell was this your fault? The reason why you couldn't hold Yotsuyu accountable for justice was because, like, Asahi decided to... Because of... because the shit of her brother decided to play some cards and... also, you know... kind of turn the people against us. You remember that, don't you? In fact, it was kind of their, like, the villagers' fault in the first place that Yotsuyu wasn't held accountable, if you think about it. Minato was prepared to die in sadness rather than live in hatred. If she could see the beast she has become, she would implore us to stop her. Which is why we must find the others who will return to us in the prisoner exchange before they come to harm. Once their safety is assured, we may hunt down the blasphemy and bring a close to this tragedy. Home no longer. There's work to be done, yet Yugiri appears reluctant to take action. Ah, Sylvain. If you are come to ask after the blasphemy, I have naught to share. As of yet, our shinobi have seen no sign of the beast. The returnees, however, are all accounted for. Lord Hien has seen them safely to the Kien Khan. As such, he is presently assisting with the hunt. For a blessing, there have been no reports of other villagers turning, and yet, before the situation takes a turn for the worse, there is a matter I feel warrants further investigation. Kisei. For a villager of Isari, I suspect she may in fact hail from my home, Sui no Sato. Knowing they would be loath to answer my inquiries, I entreat the Kojin to contact Sui no Sato in my stead. To hear of it, Princess Kurenai has made great strides in establishing stronger ties with the outside world. At mention of Kisei, however, their cordial warmth turned strangely cold. If we are to learn more, I fear we have little choice but to go and speak with the people of Sui no Sato ourselves. A simple visit for you, I imagine, but my banishment complicates matters. That said, it has been many years since I left home. Were I to disguise myself, I might well go unnoticed in your company, if you are willing to take the risk. Sure, why not? I'm sure in like the years past you've learned to disguise yourself better. Hopefully. Thank you. Let us make for Onokoro then. Right. Let me go grab some snacks real quick from my other table. Alright. Got me my chocolate orange. I absolutely love these. Harry's chocolate orange. Oh shit, chocolate oranges. Hell yeah. I really wish that they were a lot more popular here in Singapore. So I can get my hands on them easier. This one I bought from a candy store in the UK. Absolutely love it. Hey yo. The garments I wore when we first met. Sufficient, I think, to conceal my identity. I don't know, Yugiri, you could at the very least conceal your face. How many years has it been since I last saw home? I am a shinobi of Doma, aye. But even as a child, I sought to ensure the safety and survival of Suinosato. I was quite bold in those days, if not a touch reckless. And together with the other children, I often ventured beyond the borders of home. We yearned for adventure, and so one day we sought to behold the wonders of Doma. Imagine our horror to discover a city of ruin and ash, imperial soldiers marching through the streets. We fled at the sight, but in my haste, I lost my way in the bamboo groves. It was there I first met a young boy named Shun, a sweaty mess as he swung his wooden sword with reckless abandon. Training to fulfill his duty as a samurai, he said it. Having seen the destruction of which the Empire was capable, I too felt the need to protect my home. I joined him in his exercises, and every day my resolve to protect those I love grew. Sadly, my elders refused to listen. We were content in remaining hidden beneath the waves, and hopefully the Empire's notice. With a heavy heart, I left in search of the strength I believe we sorely needed, and I found it as a shinobi. But the people feared war and conflict would follow on my heels should I return. I do not begrudge them the decision, nor do I regret mine own. Part of me is overjoyed at the thought of seeing home again. Openly defying the wishes of the Ruby Princess, however, would bode ill for my family. They suffered enough for my transgressions. This is why, for their sake, I would remain naught but a faceless shinobi at your employ. Thank you. With that in mind, let us make for Suinosato. That's honestly really tragic. Yeah, she did indeed end up covering her face. All these years, yet naught appears to have changed since the day I left. But now, it's not the time to reminisce. We have work to do. Kisei's departure from Suinosato was likely decades ago. Perhaps the village elders would know why she chose to leave. So many fond memories. Pay no mind to my idle musings. Lead on. What this piece? Kisei. Now, the name sounds familiar, and yet... Apologies, friend. My memory is not what it once was. Let us seek out another. My, it has been quite some time since I last heard that name. She was a priestess of the village, banished after drawing the ire of the former Ruby Princess. What has become of her after all these years, I wonder? Please, is there anything else you can tell us? Unagi was quite close with her, if my memory serves. Perhaps you should seek her out. Mother, I hope to avoid my parents, but if there is no other way, Sylvain, might I ask you to take the lead? Unagi and Ihanami. I say, are you not the adventurer who aided Yugiri in Doma's defense, Doma's liberation? That would be me, yes. 'Tis good to see you again. To what do we owe the honor of your visit? Kisei. Yes, we were close, but that was a long, long time ago. Still, if I can be of assistance to the man whom we owe so much, I will share all I know. Kisei was born into a family of priests, and even at an early age, she was possessed of extraordinary abilities. Much was expected of her, but everything changed the day she said she could speak with the dead. No one believed her at first, but she continued to insist she could, and strove to prove it by demonstrating her knowledge well beyond her years. knowledge of events to which she could not have been privy. Word of her talent eventually reached the Ruby Princess, and she was summoned to Shisui of the Violet Tides for a private audience. No one knows what Kisei said to her in the palace, only that the princess was incandescent with rage and ordered her exiled forthwith. Some believed Kisei revealed a terrible secret of the royal house, or perhaps spoke a blatant falsehood that proved her a liar. Indeed, the knowledge she claimed to divine from the dead was not always truthful. But who is to say the dead will know the truth, or not seek to deceive? Thus could we never be certain if it was simply a fantasy or a power divine. But one thing that is certain is that no small number of people found comfort in her words. I could tell you more, but sadly I have not seen or spoken with Kisei since her banishment. Forgive me, but have we met your companion before? She looks familiar. I believe it's the first time our humble shinobi has visited Suino Sato. I imagine she does, considering that she's you. You could not possibly know me. I am but lowly shinobi of Doma, nothing more. Being a shinobi, I presume you have heard tales of Yukiri Mistwalker. Should you chance to meet her, may I ask you to deliver her a message? Tell her that her mother and father love her, but we could not be more proud of her. I will. I have no doubt she feels the same, and not a day goes by without you in her thoughts. I believe we have heard enough. Shall we return to Onokoro? My apologies for placing you in so peculiar a situation. For I must confess, it did my heart good to see mother and father well. All the more reason I must do all I can to keep the peace, as a shinobi of Doma. No, as a member of the Eastern Alliance. Mayhap there will come a day when Suino Sato opens to the world. A day when Yugiri Mistwalker can be reunited with her mother and father. Would the Lord Hien could be afforded the same opportunity. The Lord Kaien and Lady Mina has long since passed. Two of too many lives lost in the Imperial occupation. I cannot imagine he would ever succumb to despair. But make no mistake, Lord Hien knows the pain of his people all too well. I can see it in his eyes, and if I may be honest, it troubles me at times. But perhaps I have said too much. Come, we mustn't keep him waiting. Blessing on Okoro appears to be untouched by the recent chaos. For now, at least. Welcome back. I trust your journey proved an enlightening one. So she does, in fact, hail from Sui no Sato. And you say she has possessed these divine gifts since childhood. Genuine or no, her people believe her, and more flock to her side with every passing day. The returnees are safe at the Kian Khan. Its defenses bolstered. As for the blasphemy, I've spoken with our Confederate allies, among others, and together we will establish a network of contacts across the length and breadth of Doma to take up the search in earnest. Mark my words, we will find it. Yugiri appears armed and ready to leave the Enclave, which can only mean one thing. The devoted daughter. You've arrived not a moment too soon. The blasphemy has been sighted on the coast. For mercy, there are no reported casualties as of yet. Just the man I was hoping to see. No sooner had we cast wide our net than a Confederate messenger was at our door. If you would join us, Rachel awaits our arrival at Onokoro. Is he up these stairs? I assume so. Unsee and Russia. Hear about blasphemy, yes. Or he and Yugiri should be arriving soon enough. This guy literally looks like a One Piece character. Gonna head off? Happy question. Alright, see ya, Seth. You have a good night. Well now, that the noble lord of Doma should come in person once again. Mayhap these blasphemies truly are a threat. Indeed they are, and I was told that you and yours sighted our quarry quite recently. Aye, I bet we did. Near the islands of Shoal Rock. The beast appeared to be docile by all accounts, but appearances can be deceiving. It is as you say, and this blasphemy has eyes only for former conscripts. If it is as you say, and this blasphemy has eyes only for former conscripts, then we have naught to fear. I trust those we accepted into our care are still in yours at the Kian Khan, enjoying the finest Doman hospitality. Anyway, I know not why it came to the Ruby Sea, nor why it remains idle, but if we act quickly, there is a chance we can take it unawares. I propose we divide our forces. If you're willing to go ashore, We'll take a ship and circle about the islands. The first to find it will have the honor of the kill. Ha! A simple enough plan. Shall we be off to Shoal Rock then? I had thought we earned a reprieve from battle with the Imperial withdrawal. It seems I was mistaken. So be it. I'll not suffer this monster to threaten us any longer. I can't imagine it'll take long to deal with this creature once we corner it. I don't know about that, Chief. Ready, Sylvain. Should we find the beast first? We must be prepared to strike at once. This is where the blasphemy was last sighted. If the fates are kind, this will all be over soon. There it is. Oh, she's fucking off. Damn. Such speed. I doubt even my falcons could keep pace with it. Bah. Don't tell me that blasphemy is flying off into the distance. I hoped the ill will it bore me in life might compel the beast to stay and fight. Perhaps less of Minato remains than I thought. Minato? That monstrosity was Minato. You knew her? Her family tried to flee to Hingashi during the occupation. Their ship was raided and sunk. When we happened upon the wreckage, she was huddled between her parents on a piece of flotsam, desperate to keep warm, but they had long since grown cold. We took her to Onokoro where we nursed her back to health. Could imagine what horrors she must have witnessed. The mere sight of our weapons was enough to make her start screaming. She was certainly unfit for our trade, so we sought a village that might take her in. Isari was that village. Several months later, I chanced to meet her on this very beach. She was in the company of a young Ori fisherman, and I knew at once she had found more than a home there. I saw them here many times after that. She found something comforting about this place, I think. According to the reports from Razahan, the memories and desires of those who turn can influence their behavior as blasphemies. Then perhaps Minato's memories are what compelled the beast to come here. That would also explain its timid nature. Minato was never one for violence, and the sight of you, blade drawn, no doubt stirred what little of the woman remains of the monster. In that case, an assault on the Hien Khan is unlikely, guarded as it is by our samurai. But how are we to fight an enemy so quick to flee at the first sign of danger? Robbed of her parents, her husband, now her life. I would rather we didn't have to at all. But I understand full well the risk we take by doing nothing. If we catch sight of the blasphemy again, you will be first to know. Perhaps next time we can put her soul to rest. We scarcely had time to draw our weapons ere it fled. Perhaps we must reconsider our approach. There's not to do now but bide our time. Come, let us return to the Enclave. If the Blossomy appears to show itself, there's no telling how long it may take to track it down a second time. Given what we learned, it seemed likely that the Blossomy will return to Shoal Rock. But that knowledge will avail us not if we cannot prevent it from escaping again. Lord Hien, on behalf of the people of Isari, we are come with a request. We welcome you with open arms and open hearts. What is it you will ask of me? Those who returned to us in the prison exchange have been granted shelter at the Kien Khan. That they yet live is an affront to the Kami's grand design, and the spirits of our loved ones suffer for it. Balance must needs be restored, and so I beseech you to render them unto the goddess Izanami. What the fuck? Are you telling? It's straight up requesting us to hand over these people who were literal prisoners of war to a Blossomy. Holy shit! I really should just shoot you on sight. Absolutely not. 'Tis not our place to pray for the death of others, nor draw steel to sate a mere bloodlust. When I take a life, and be it by command or by my own hand, I do so not in service to vengeance, but to uphold my duty to Doma and her people. How did your mercy for Yotsuyu serve your duty? How were your people made better by the sight of her walking free? For her crimes and her cruelty, I cut her down the day we took Doma Castle. I sought to kill her, and by rights she should have died then and there. But the Kami willed otherwise, and returned her to us alive and bereft of her memories. With no recollections of her deeds, it would have been Tsuyu who faced punishment, not Yotsuyu. This was my judgment, and for it you were denied the justice you deserved. You have every right to resent me. But you come before me and ask that I sacrifice men and women whose only crime was to suffer, to be condemned to a life of servitude. If you truly believe your cause to be sacrosanct, I believe yourselves fit to bear the burden and swing the sword. Believe yourselves fit to bear the burden and swing the sword. Then step forward. Sophistry and lies. They were meant to die. The spirits demanded. All these words of the dead, or the living we yet mourn, are these words of the are these words of the dead, or the living we yet mourn? Oh, Tomboy Gosetsu! Word of the Sari priestess and her gifts has spread far and wide, and I thought to see the truth of it myself. By coincidence, I crossed paths with a traveler hailing from the self-same village, who had a mind to return as well, but alas could not, and so he bid me deliver a missive in his stead. Judging by the striking resemblance, I take it you are the young fisher Akitsu. This is a letter from my father. He was severely wounded in battle, but expects to make a full recovery. He's alive. But that would mean... Told you she was a fucking scam. Surely a woman of your talents can divine a plausible explanation for this turn of events. You shall pay for this continually. My daughter will make certain of that. We're just letting her go? Come on, man, I literally have a gun. Let me shoot her in the back. Apologies for the abrupt and otherwise unannounced arrival. As you can see, my Lord Hien, I am returned. Full glad am I for it. Thanks to your timely arrival, we have given the lie to Kisei's claims of preternatural powers. I gather you are apprised of recent events. Aye. It did not take long to learn of the state of affairs here in Doma, and that my assistance may be required. I had heard tales of Kisei channeling the dead, including the father of one young fisherman. Imagine to my surprise when I saw this spirit in the flesh. He was also on a pilgrimage, paying respects to the departed, and we chanced to meet in a Liberation Front infirmary. Would that we were not brought back together in such circumstances, but I am glad to see you are all hale and hearty. As am I, Gosetsu. How are you, little shit again? Beat him! Beat his ass! Tonbo, is something the matter? I wish to apologize, Lord Hien. It was wrong of me to say the things I did. I understand nothing can bring my father back, but I was so angry Please, Tonbo, you needn't apologize. It's just... my brother was always so brave. My father's death was more than he could bear, and it turned him into that monster. If he wasn't brave enough, what chance do I have? We wanted to perform the rites for father, but the body was never returned to us, so... Not that I blame you for that, Lord Hien. I understand nothing could be done. That Akitsu's father survived is nothing short of a miracle. but I fear he is indeed a rare exception. I've offered prayers at more graves than I can count. It would be cruel to give others a false hope that their loved ones might return. And yet Kisei continues to do just that, offering comfort with her lies. Attempting an ephemeral balm for wounds that have yet to heal, much like the anger some harbor for you, or resentment for the families restored while theirs remain broken. But for those like that poor boy whose hearts lack for hatred, who know only sadness and despair, aye, they too may turn. Exposing the truth of Kisei's deception hasn't helped matters. If we are to prevent more suffering, it must pursue a lasting solution. I would be most grateful for your counsel, Gosetsu. There is much I could learn from your pilgrimage. If there is aught you require, but say the word, and it shall be done. It is the least I can do for the part I played in Yotsu's tragedy. I failed her in the end, but I will not fail you, my lord. Thank you again for your aid, Sylvain. The day's events have given me much to consider. When our next step is decided, you will be the first to know. I see you lurking over there in chat quietly, Oliora. I see a singular gift. Yugiri's stern expression suggests she has no good news to share. Regrettably, there have been no sightings of blasphemy since our first encounter at Shoal Rock, as Tansui surmised. It seems to fear a confrontation. We, for our part, have tried to make good use of this intervening calm. Even now, Lord He and Gosetsu discuss how we might prevent other villagers from turning. If you will wait here a moment, he will no doubt wish to hear thoughts on the matter. Sylvain, so glad you could come. As Yugiri no doubt explained, the blasphemy continues to elude us, and so we have turned our attention to other matters we can and should address. After long discussions and much deliberation, we believe we have found a means to allay the growing malaise of our people. If you would, Gosetsu. Malaise? The idea came to us after considering young Tonbo's remarks about his father, whose body was never found and returned to Doma. Others no doubt shared in his melancholy, unable to bury and mourn their loved ones as is their right. Put simply, they cannot make peace with their loss. Their anguish, if left to linger, may consume them as well. that we might provide the people of Doma with comfort and closure, we will hold a national funeral at the Swallow's Compass. Those who choose to attend will be asked to present personal effects of the deceased if they wish to be enshrined there. Spirits reside in all things, be they living or inanimate, and though we may die, a part of us live on in the items we cherished most in life. Therefore, in lieu of remains, these belongings will be afforded a place in the royal mausoleum, that the spirits of those lost to us may find their way home to Doma, and at last know peace. The announcement has already been made, and a great many people are now engaged in the difficult task of deciding which keepsake will serve as their offering. It is not a decision to be made lightly, but I suspect they will have made up their minds by the time we go to collect their chosen tokens. I also hoped to learn more about the departed from those willing to speak with me, for my benefit and for theirs. To break free of their sorrow, they must seek joy in the memories and the love they shared with the departed, and I will help them find it. Might the Liberator of Doma be willing to favor the people with his presence as well? I doubt not that they will appreciate the gesture. Good. Yugiri, I leave the people of Visari to you. Gosetsu, may I ask you to... Apologies, my lord, but there is a small but most urgent matter I must first attend to. Very well, I shall not pry. Now, Sylvain, let us go and pay a visit to the good people of Namai. Right then, before we begin, I will remind you that you need only listen to the tales of your loved ones. As overseer of the ceremony, I see it as my duty to deliver their effects personally. Because of this, it is of the utmost importance that we keep clear of any beasts that might damage our cargo. It goes without saying how important it is that their offerings are delivered in pristine condition, and I will be no good to you in a fight while heavily encumbered. If stealth or flight are not options, I must ask that you fight for us both. But we needn't worry unless the occasion rises. For now, let us be off. I pray that this ceremony helps them find the closure they so rightfully deserve. My husband, dear sweet Maria, never returned from Garlemald, but perhaps now his soul might know peace. Please, take this painting brush to the Swallow's Compass. I shall handle it with the utmost care. Might we trouble you to tell us more about your husband? Maria was a kind and gentle soul. There was nothing he loved more in the world than to create. That brush never left his side, not even when he tended the fields. Any spare moment was dedicated to his craft, and he produced the most wonderful vistas of Valencia. It was his dream to take us to Kugane, where he would become a famous artist, until he was conscripted. In the early days, he would send drawings of the places they took him, though I know not how. But more time began to pass between each arrival, and then we stopped coming altogether. I know not in what far-flung land he died. I pray he was as beautiful as his works. He sounds like quite a man, to hold fast to his art even when forced to endure such hardship. His soul will find peace, of that I have no doubt. That was Maria's favorite brush. Please do take good care of it. Weaving Elder. I'm gonna try to see whether if I can remember how to do an old man voice. I must thank you again, Lord Hien, for this honor. My son would have been overjoyed to know that his katana would be enshrined at the Solar's compass. Nay, the honor is mine. I'm sure your son was a fine warrior. Aye, and so was I, once upon a time. A samurai, as it happens, in service to your father when the Empire first invaded our lands. Though we were defeated, our spirits broken. My son Motusue was never one to lose hope. He was determined to follow in my footsteps, gave his everything into honing his skill with the blade. When I watched him train, I felt the pride I thought I'd forsaken swell in my breast, and I knew he would restore our family to its former glory. Alas, he could have fled, perhaps started a life anew as a vagabond of some sort. But he bore the burden and fought for Garlemald, for fear of what the Imperials might do if he did not. 'Tis plain he was a loving son and a warrior true. I will care for his blade as if it were mine own, and see it given the honor and respect due a samurai of Doma. A samurai of Doma. Motusue would have been so happy. You... Kono Kusugaki. I realize it's quite large, but I wanted to offer this on behalf of my brother and our father, Suzushiro. If you're willing, I would very much like to hear more about them both. My father, he was a carpenter. He was a good man, if a bit stubborn. I always think about his work. Only time he ever seemed to enjoy himself was when he had a cup of sake in his hand. When my brother came of age, he took up the trade as well. It brought them closer. I'd see them laughing over drinks together, or listening in silence to the crickets, singing under the moonlight. I wanted to join them one day. This was their favorite sake. I thought they might miss it. I'm sure it will taste all the sweeter having come from you. I realize that no one can ever replace your brother or father. But if you would allow, I would be honored to share drinks with you in their stead. When you are of age, of course. This should be everything. Would you join me for a short reprieve before our journey back? Thinking about my brother and father, finding peace at the soul's compass is comforting, like a weight has been lifted from my heart. Myself, like, trying to find a way out there, I could probably just do this. That's a nice screenshot right there. They put on brave faces, but the people of the Mai are still racked with grief. It is the same at every village I have visited in recent days, but it is only now that I'm struck with the contradictory nature of my goals. Having joined the Eastern Alliance and taken steps to revitalize the Enclave, I believe the Doma was at last on the path to peace and prosperity. I still do. Yet, by focusing so keenly on the future, I've neglected the past that yet haunts my people. Even if they do not give in to despair, and become beasts that plague our lands like poor Tombo's brother, how are we to truly move forward if we are constantly looking back? You speak of their haunted pasts, Lord Ian, but what of yours? Is there not someone for whom you yourself still grieve? Me? All things considered, I suppose it was only a matter of time before the subject was broached. Ha! He cuts into the heart of the matter, and the young lord. For the best, I should think, for he cannot lead by example if he has not yet made peace with his own past. A thousand apologies, my lord. I was passing through, tending to the matters of of which I spoke earlier. When I chanced to hear familiar voices at this distance. If I may be so bold, the people of Doma, one and all, understand the source of your pain. To lose your father in the turmoil of a failed rebellion, a staggering duty to the throne thrust upon you. Aye, how could you even begin to mourn when first you had to lead? It would behoove you to take part in the funeral rites, my lord. Take this time to make peace with your past, while it is still yours to spend. Though unlikely, if not impossible, were you to become a monster as well, Doma will surely be lost. I thank you for your counsel, Gosetsu, but if I may ask, why is it you keep your blade at the ready? I thought this personal matter of yours to be naught but a trifle, or am I mistaken? Well, I find the katana a superior tool for peeling persimmons. Speaking of which, I do believe my stomach begs for sustenance, if you will excuse me. Peeling persimmons with a katana? Gosetsu, my man. Training, to help slay the blasphemy, no doubt. Fitting that he should offer me counsel, yet refuse to aid it in kind. He is not the warrior he once was, but he is wise, our obstinate friend. If I am to be perfectly honest, it frightens me to recall it, the moment it all came crashing down. We'd taken Doma Castle. Victory was ours. But then we looked out and saw the banners of the 12th Legion marching towards us, the Crown Prince at the fore. No sooner had Gosetsu and I escaped than we received word that Xenos had slain my father. I remember how the fight went out of Gosetsu in an instant, how he wept for his lord, while I felt the weight of the profound duty bear down upon my shoulders, crushing, suffocating, the heat of my own breath, the chill of my clammy palms. But duty demanded I master my emotions. When all those around me, Gosetsu included, were consumed by anger and the thirst for vengeance, I had to be in control. Under my orders, we dispersed and fled to fight another day. To this day, I have not stopped to reflect on my father's death. How could I, devoted as I am, to finding Doma's way forward? But now I must. And so, having taken you into my confidence, will you see this through with me to journey's end? It would be my pleasure. The keepsake I would offer up to the funeral is hidden in a place not easily reached. We have to fly there, I'm afraid. But worry not, my Yol will ferry us. Just a moment. The place we seek is Plum Spring in the mountains. Shall we? Let's go. These are some stunning vistas of Doma. And here we arrive at Plum Spring. My parents would bring me here for Hanami as a child. Its beauty and serenity was such that I could forget the realities of occupation. Indeed, some of my fondest memories of family are here, which is precisely why I chose this place to conceal the singular gift my father bequeathed to me as a child. Huh. Oh, that's cute. Charming, is it not? The great auspice Titan Dasheng, said to reside somewhere along the Dairyu chain. In those days, anyone and everyone knew of the tales of his prowess. Reckless boy that I was, I once even tried to seek him out, hoping he might help us. I buried here shortly after my coming-of-age ceremony. It seemed a fitting place to both part with my childhood and offer a final goodbye to my mother. More of a keepsake of mine than his, to be sure. He was never a man of worldly possessions. Still, I suspect he will allow himself a rare smile if he were to see it again after all these years. And that is precisely how I wish to bid him farewell, with a smile. Ah, it should go without saying that I would prefer it not to be known that I kept this doll here. Wouldn't want the children to go jealous now, would we? And with that, I believe it is time we returned to the Enclave. The two of you were away for quite some time. Is everything alright? There are yet more villages to visit and offerings to collect, but preparations are proceeding apace. Soon the people will have one less cause to be tempted down the path of despair. Of course, there still remains a problem of the blasphemy. The former conscripts will remain at the Kian Khan until it has been dealt with. We will slave the beast in due time, but before that, I will be honored if you are present for the funeral rites. Speak with Yugiri when next you visit the Enclave, and she'll tell you more of the proceedings. Laid to rest. Yugiri's somber expression suggests you have arrived on time. As ever, your timing is impeccable. We but moments ago completed preparations for the funeral. I will inform Lord Hien of your arrival. You're here. Excellent. The blasphemy continues to shun our settlements, and I mean to make the most of the time its absence affords us. I assumed you were planning to take part in the ceremony. Glad to hear it. Unfortunately, Kosetsu will not be joining us today. He's injured himself, as I knew he would with his secret training. and now grumbles from the confines of his bed. But he will be fine in due course. We may worry about his convalescence after the funeral. I believe the ferry is over there. Honored hero, you seek passage across the One River.
Yes, I do.
Okay, this is the final quest. And after this, I'm probably just gonna go to bed or something. 1 a.m. 1:30 a.m. There was a peculiar looking doll among the effects. I can find no records of it in our stores. Would you happen to know who brought it? Oh yes, I do. I won't tell you, of course. The villagers should arrive ere long. Then we may begin. At the very least, my gear exceeds 550, so I can sink down. The fact that I can actually sink downwards towards recommended eye level is great. Lord Hien, I apologize, my lord, for my past transgressions. I yearned to believe my daughter was a kami reborn, but you were right. She is a monster. Words can ill express my shame for advocating the conscripts be sacrificed to appease the dead. I don't buy this for 1 second. He's plotting something, I know it. Nay, this ceremony shall serve far, far better. And so, as a humble citizen of Doma, I offer my deepest gratitude and beg for your forgiveness. I will make an offering on behalf of my husband and son, as well as my dear stepdaughter, Minato. I throw myself on your mercy, Lord Hien. Allow them a place within the mausoleum, that their spirits may know peace. There is no need to beg forgiveness, Kise. Please, rise. Told you should have shot her when I could. Should just let me shoot her, man. She will come for you. Honestly, the fact that you have a corpse in one piece is already a blessing. Should just put like a hole, 2 holes in your head. Alright, here she comes. By the kami, she gave her life to draw off the blasphemy. No, it's just not that bad. And just shooter. It's easy. And Blasphemy Izanami. Minato holds me responsible for a stepmother's death. I will keep his attention.
For you, Father. Concentrate!
It is nothing. The weave of a shinobi's power.
I can't move. Kosetsu to the rescue. Oh. Apologies for the untimely arrival, my lord. My man became a monk. Like a priest. Gosetsu, what is this stuff? Pilgrimage proved a most enlightening experience, and it is where I chanced to discover the benefits of ascetic training. I may no longer be fit to wield a blade, my lord, but Shugendo offers me another way to turn the tide of battle. Stubborn as ever. I shall have to thank you later. Let's put an end to this. We must discuss a change of your vocation
For you,
after
Father.
dealing with this blasphemy. I'm not so easily broken. I said something amiss. Quickly, to me. Done, Possessor. Now I believe his past time would put Minato's soul to rest.
The weave of a shinobi's power.
Tis but a scratch. Feel some skill.
Nice. A deceiver to the bitter end. But she is still a daughter of Doma. She will have a proper burial, and her family's belongings enshrined with the others. I've gathered here today not to speak of the future, but to reflect on the past, to pay respect to our loved ones fallen on the field of battle. In honor of their sacrifices, these sons and daughters of Doma shall be given a place here at the Swallow's Compass. Though they no longer walk with us in life, they will walk with us in spirit. Never forget their bravery, but their memories of their legacy give you comfort and strength. Maruya Motokawa, the aspiring painter. He was a man who saw beauty in all things, and one day would have become a renowned artist in Kugane. Motosue Jito, the warrior in training. He longed to become a samurai like his father and bring honor to his family. Suzushiro Kodakuni, the carpenter, a man who wholly dedicated to his craft, who hoped to one day pass on his talents to his two loving children. Lastly, Minato Shihogaki and her stepmother Kise. Theirs was once a happiness to be envied. Minato's parents were murdered by Imperial soldiers, and after being rescued by the Confederacy, Minato was given into the care of the village of Isari. Though she arrived with a broken heart, it was soon mended by the man who would become her husband. The son of Kise, who herself had been born to Isari on winds of tragedy. Kise was a child of the deep, born in Suinosato. For her gifts she was exiled, but with her courage and tenacity found a new home on the shores of the Ruby Sea. She was a devoted wife and mother, and though not related by blood, she loved Minato as if she were her own. That is how she lived, how they all lived, and how they should be remembered. Let your hearts swell not with sorrow, but with joy for their memory. Know that proof of their mark left on this world shall remain here, enshrined within the swallow's compass for all eternity. Let us still our voices, and in silence pray for their souls, that they may share in peace we have found. And thank you for the raid, I see. What have you been up to? Welcome, Raiders. My name is Sylvain Demonbane, Demon Slayer, and Knight of the Eclipse. Pleased to meet your acquaintance. Come, tell me, what were you all up to? Depresso watch. I can't be that bad, right? Surely you had a few good games? Hmm? Too tired at the end, so no brain just then. Well, hopefully you at least, like, you know, enjoy yourself a little bit. Oh, hey, my camera finally came back on. I didn't notice that when did it, like, the Wi-Fi went out. But it is back now. And I can move my avatar. Wow. Traditionally, the royal mausoleum is reserved for the ruling clans, but I have no doubt Lord Kyan would approve of his son's decision. Many tears were shed throughout the ceremony, not for grief, but for relief, I think. Happiness, even. Well, I certainly wasn't expecting a battle with a blasphemy as a prelude to the ceremony. At least now we may breathe easy, if only for a short while. The villagers have all returned home, and I believe it is time we did the same. Right, back to the Doman Enclave. I hungers and tired, so I'm just gonna go look now. Alright, well, you... please go get some food. Eating is important, we need food to survive. And then, yeah, once you're down there, go sleep. It's pretty late, it's almost 2 AM. Never in my wildest dreams did I foresee Gossetsu embracing the aesthetic arts. I'm not yet well versed in the healing magics, but thankfully it was enough to be of some use to Lord Hien. Alright, thank you for stopping by and thank you for the raid. We've held a national funeral and slain a blasphemy besides. A rather productive day, would you not agree? The former conscripts will be elated to finally return home. Speaking of returns, I think I speak for us all when I say your appearance at Swallow's Compass came as something of a shock. What of your injuries from training? Quite painful for some time, I assure you. Despite my best efforts to reclaim my former skills, my back and my hips vigorously protested. I planned to sleep that I might be well rested for the morrow's hunt, but a voice called out to me. I was needed, so I grabbed my cane and ran as quickly as my ailing body would allow. The cane suits you, Gossetsu. Your mastery of the healing magics was a sight to behold. Almost as surprising as your resurrection following the fall of Doma Castle. I am still but a novice in dire need of training. It is my hope that I will be able to refine my aesthetic arts during my next pilgrimage. So you are leaving then? Worry not, Lord Hien. Should you find yourself in dire straits once more, I shall fly to your side. Not as a samurai, perhaps, but I will nonetheless give our enemies cause to tremble. And with that, I take my leave. For it may be years, if not decades, until we truly make peace with our past. We have turned a corner and begun to heal. We may look to the future unburdened by grief ignored and sadness denied. The path ahead is ever fraught with peril, but we shall walk it with eyes unclouded and with pride. You have done so much for us, for Doma. I wish there was more I could do for you. If I may ask one last favor, before you leave, please inform our representative at Razahan that the blasphemy has been vanquished, and the people of Doma are safe. With any luck, our experiences here will prove useful to other nations that yet grapple with these beasts. The people of Suinosato will be relieved to hear of recent events. I wonder what mother and father would say. Safe travels, Sylvain, and may the Kami bless you. Oh wait. Wait, you are returned. What word from Doma? The blasphemy is no more. But it's most wonderful news. I must inform the other delegates at once. Thank you again for answering our summons. If another threat should rear its dastardly head, I pray we can count on your assistance again. Nice. Alright, well, that is it for the stream. Alright, for the role quest. Yeah, for approximately 2.5 hours. Exactly how long I thought it was gonna take. Right then, well, thank you all for stopping by to my stream. I definitely won't be streaming over the weekend, for it is Lunar New Year. I'm sure plenty of you will have activities of your own, plans to make, families to reunite with. So thank you all for stopping by. Let's see who is available to raid. Let's see. Lottie is still streaming. So I'll send you all over to her. Hopefully I got this correct. Okay, well, that is it for me for tonight. I bid you all a good rest, and I'll see you again sometime after all this. Rest well, and do take care. Goodbye.